Well, thank you all for coming to the 9 into 10 information sessions. So my name is Keegan Taylor. I am the yellow house leader in the senior school. So for any of you in yellow, you'll be seeing a lot of me next year. I wanted to introduce you to my team, and not all of them can be here today, but we do have our lovely senior leader, Natalie Madden, here just behind us. So she's the overseer of all of us here in the senior school. We have Zoe Finch, who's our greenhouse leader, Brad Stubing, our red house leader, and Lauren Boswell, who is our learner wellbeing leader. Supporting us, we have Kadri, who is our vet coordinator. So any students that are interested in going to and through a vet course or apprenticeship or anything like that, she is the person in the know that you'll be able to speak to. We have April Graver, who is our ATSE teacher, and we have Ashley Golding, who is our inclusive learning coordinator as well. So when you transfer from middle school into senior school, there are some huge differences that occur. One of the big ones is that you move into a new vertically aligned home group. So rather than being in the 7, 8, 9 home groups, you are now placed in the 10, 11, 12 home groups. And that's very deliberate because we want students to have those role models that are older than them that can share their experiences with them. Students will start to get an increased subject choice and voice in their learning options that become available to them. So really important when you're starting to select future careers because we want you to have taste of subjects in years 11 and 12. It is your first experience next year studying in the SACE. So next year you will complete one new subject that's makes up part of your SACE, and then when you get into year 11 and year 12, you'll be better equipped in understanding what the SACE actually is. The students that move into year 10, we consider as our role models. Every student in the senior school, we now consider as role models of the school, and we expect you to act accordingly. We hold those really high expectations of our senior school students. As a year 10, you start to get more personal responsibility, you develop time management skills, and you develop independent study skills. These are those life skills that we want you to have when you become an adult and you work into that workforce. So these are the real things that we put a focus on from that year 10 level onwards. And most important thing is begin planning for your future. So we want you to start thinking about career pathways. We want to start thinking about those options that are available to you. And so that all starts from a year 10 level and beyond. So we start doing things like career counselling. We start doing things like excursions and incursions and going to universities and getting providers in, such as Flinders Uni people here, and getting you that experience that really helps you make those informed choices going forward. And we want to build on aspirations, passions that you currently have and provide you with more opportunities to make really informed choices. One of the big things, sorry I said that was the biggest thing, but this I think is the biggest thing as you move into senior school is attendance. All right, the big key to success is being here every single day. Every one of your teachers will be your biggest support person and will go out on a limb for you, but we want to make sure that you're here to receive that support. So now I want to introduce you to the SACE. So the SACE is the South Australian Certificate for Education. It is a qualification of preparation for further learning, work and life. It opens up opportunities for future career pathways. It is now a flexible option as well. So the SACE isn't just about what you do in school, it's about those experiences you have outside of school. So if you do work experience, if you do that, if you actually have a full-time job or part-time job I should say, we can actually accredit that to make up part of your SACE. So it's really flexible and it sets up students with high aspirations and goals, a key for their future success. So SACE is predominantly made up of stage 1 and stage 2 subjects, and stage 1 and stage 2 actually just really means year 11 and year 12. One of the big things for students going into year 10 though, is we begin PLP. So that is your first taster session into the SACE, and that is where you get your first experience with it. We do that very intentionally because we want to get students who are going into year 10 understanding how their current interests align with future careers. We want to give them that because we want them to make some more informed choices when they move into year 11 and move into year 12, because you get a lot of freedom in year 11 and year 12 about subject choices. So we want you to have that experience going into year 11 so that you know exactly what kind of pathway that you want to go down. And one of the other big things is work experience. So getting past the barriers of the school, going out into the world and experiencing the working life so that you can again make those informed choices when you get into year 11 and year 12. So for students to achieve their SACE, it's made up of these things called credits. 200 credits will get a student their SACE, or their Certificate of Education. Right? What it means for a Year 10 student, essentially, is basically one course. So it's one semester of the personal learning plan, all right, and students will need to achieve at a C grade or better, which is maybe a little bit different to what you would have experienced in the middle school. So that's the sort of a bit of the shift from middle school to senior school, is those higher expectations. The personalised learning plan, the course that we do in Year 10, is about developing goals for the future in relation to subject selection, courses and other learning relevant to pathways through and beyond school. So it's about investigating more about yourself, finding out who you are as a person, your interests, and then finding out if we can link those interests to possible career choices that you might have. And like I said, it's about exploring your personal and learning goals, and you get a taste of the working life. So every student that starts PLP next year will get to go out on a week's worth of work experience and get to see what the world is like outside of school. It's a really great thing. Students begin to understand their strengths, and they get to understand the SACE capabilities. So next year, all of the students will be introduced to the 7 SACE capabilities that we believe every student coming out of Year 12 achieving their SACE will have these certain capabilities as a person, such as being literate and numerate and having critical and creative skills. The timetable for the Year 10s is a little bit more flexible than what it was in Year 9. So you have 3 compulsory subjects that run for the full year. We have English, we have our ICS, which is our inquiry-centred studies, and that's the maths and science continued on. And then we have our HAS courses. Your English and your ICS classes will change every single term. The context of them, you'll keep the same teacher, but the context will change. I believe the English teachers will change, yes. The HAS class will be a semester-long class. Apart from that, in either semester 1 or semester 2, you'll have either PLP or HPE as your compulsory. So if you don't do PLP in semester 1, then you'll do it in semester 2 and vice versa with HPE. And then there's that opportunity for 3 elective subjects where your passions really lie, unless they're always in science and maths, like I hope they are. Alright, if you are a student that does SSC or music, that will replace one of the elective subjects for the full year, so then you'll just choose 2 other elective subjects to do. Another option that we have that is brand new for Year 10 students, and it's not available to our Year 9s, is, like Mr. Jackson was saying, is our VET courses. So our VET courses is about learning that on-the-job work-related skills, which can provide SACE credits and a VET qualification. So a really good thing for certain people looking to get in some of the industries that I'll show in a second, and they can get a certificate, either a certificate 1, 2 or 3 coming out of it. Right. These courses can lead to things like school-based apprenticeships, full-time jobs, and they contribute to people's SACE. So any student in Year 10 that takes up a VET course, they earn these credits that I spoke about just before that contributes to their SACE. The only disclaimer I will say about Year 10 in VET courses is that they will still have to have a full-time study timetable. It's a little bit different in Year 11, but at a Year 10 level, they'll still do their 7 subjects and they'll have their VET as well. So they'll have 1 day off a week potentially, where they go and do their VET course, and then they'll still come back and have their full-time study timetable. I'll let you guys read some of these courses that are available to VET students, and I might hop out the way a little bit. But as you can see, it's not just limited to the sort of trades thing. There's a lot of different things available to VET students, and if you want more information on that, you can speak to me, you can speak to Miss Madden, you can speak to Kadri. All of us can point you in that right direction and where to go, and all you have to do is ask. So that's available to any student coming into Year 10. We want our students to make the right choices, and so it was Tuesday of this week, we ran little information sessions about all of the elective subjects that were available for students to pick next year. So every teacher that is involved in that presented the course, its outline and things like that. So your students should be able to have those conversations with you now about what each course entails and start really making those informed choices. Aligning with that, and I might skip out of my presentation for a second to show you how to access the course handbook, is our course handbook. I think this is the big go-to guide when you are trying to pick your courses for next year. This is a really great tool to look at with your students, parents and caregivers together, and you make the best choices that you think about for the future. So to access the course handbook, all you need to do is go to our website, click on the curriculum tab, and it will take you to the site that I'm already at. And then you can click on the Year 10 to 12 handbook. That will have a whole 10 pages or so on every Year 10 class that's available to students. So it's a really good way to now start reading about in the next couple of weeks all the courses that are available, including like the English courses, because students will get a lot of voice and choice in their certain classes, even if they are compulsories. The big one that's coming up in 2 weeks' time is our course selection day, and so I want to show you guys how to fill out the course cards because it can be a little bit confusing. We've got our compulsory subjects on the front page of the course cards. So what you'll see first is the English classes that run every single term. So these titles will be available in the course handbook, so it's really important that for each term you read about what the courses are that are available, and then you priority rank each one of these by 1, 2 and 3, and then hopefully you get the first preference for every single term. Aligning with that, we then have 3 different HASS classes that are available, remembering that HASS runs for a full year, so you should get 2 out of those 3. And then even though HPE is a compulsory subject, what you can do is you get to decide which of the 4 HPE subjects that you actually do. So it is a compulsory for 1 semester. However, if you can read about that in the course handbook, they're all a little bit different. So one of the new courses for next year is that there is a HPE course for females only, because they identified this year that maybe some of the females they didn't feel comfortable participating. So next year there is a brand new course only for females. So that's something that would fall into next year. And if you are doing specialist sports, again, going into next year, you can just tick that box and that will replace one of your elective subjects. On the back page of the course selection handbook is the electives. So although they are in different boxes, this area here should be ranked 1 to 8. So number 1 being the first subject that you would like to do, number 8 being the last subject that you would still like to do, but your least favourite or your lowest preference. The idea is that if you select something as your number 1 preference, we will do everything in our power to provide that course to you. However, if you're, say, in the SSC program and that runs at the same time as design, then we can't fit you into that class and SSC, so we'll put you into your second preference. So it's really important, even if there's only, say, 5 things that you're interested in doing, that you have a real good think about those last 3 subjects, because we want to make sure that there's still some interest in those subjects. So it's, like I said, it's really important to read that course handbook. If you are interested in any vet courses as well, you can actually tick the boxes down here. Alright, and there will be a vet session, I believe it is next Tuesday.
There's pamphlets just at the back.
Pamphlets just at the back for anyone that is interested to hear more about the vet courses. And then in step 7, there's just some of the opportunities that we at Wirreanda Secondary School could potentially offer, depending on numbers and depending on things like COVID. That day is in 2 weeks' time. So Wednesday the 19th of August, all the teachers will be gathered around and you can come in, book in your learning conversation with your subject teacher, your house leader, with the wellbeing leader, whoever you like, but also to bring a chance for you to bring your course cards in, fill those out and make sure that you drop them off so that we can give you those best timetables ready for next year. Like Mr. Cunningham said, I believe this has already gone out in the mail. And so to book an appointment for the learning conversations, all you need to do is go onto the school's interview website, enter the code that is there, and then you can select which subject teacher or which area leader, anything like that that you want to meet with, select your time and then book that. And although students are going into Year 10, I still think it's quite important for them to start forward thinking maybe about that Year 11, Year 12 and beyond. So one thing that I would highly recommend to parents, to students as well, is that if you are unsure or if you do know a certain direction that you want to go, jump onto websites like the TAFE SA website, jump onto other websites like the different university websites and just go explore, just go digging in there. Alright, if you are confused, you do know a pathway that you want to go down but you're a little bit confused, feel free to come and chat to one of your house leaders, feel free to come and chat with any teacher and they can point you in the right direction and show you how to navigate these websites. We've done it all before, so we should be able to go through and give you that advice that you're after.